Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 9 of the TriStar Sports Show. Jamie and I are here back again to highlight week 4 now of the NFL. And
Yes.
we're going to preview that. But before we get to that, we're going to address week 3, all the games. And we're going to look at how Jamie and I are doing as far as predicting game, which, spoiler alert, not pretty. Not pretty at all. So, Jamie, if you want to start with hitting us with some of the statistics here.
Yeah. I really hope that you guys haven't been tailing us these last 2 weeks. We started off good. We started the season off good. Not good anymore. Actually, I guess Tegan's still above 500, but I'm not. So went into the week with Tegan at 18 and 14, and myself at 500 at 16 and 16. I had a 6 and 10 week, which brings me to 22 and 26. And Tegan had a 7 and 9 week. He beat me by one game. So he's now 25 and 23. So I don't know. I don't think that if we get in the season around 500, I don't think that's bad.
No,
I mean, it's NFL
not
games.
horrible.
No, not at all. But yeah, if we want to get into an overview of like the scores from week 3, I can share my screen. I have it pulled up. So
That works.
let me know when you can see that. And we can just jump right into to Thursday night, where I was severely mistaken. Gerard Mayo is not my boy anymore. He'll always be a ball for life, but I'm not going to be pulling for him, and especially won't be pulling for him this week. I'll get into that later. But yeah, the Jets just look dominant. Kind of simple as that. You got anything about this one, Tegan?
Yeah, Jets look good. Patriots looked how I expected them to be honest. About all there is to that one.
Yeah.
Jets, I think, are going to start turning things around here a little bit. They've won 2 in a row now. Start seeing them creep up those power rankings and whatnot and slip into that playoff contention. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely a wild card contender. And although the AFC East may have went from a three horse race to a 2-horse race after Tua's injury, it's still competitive between the Jets and the Bills, in my opinion. But next up, of course, the week I don't pick the Giants, they end up beating the Browns. I guess at this point, I mean, we're only 3 weeks in, but we just don't really know which Browns we're going to get. On a good note for the Giants, though, I think that Malik Neighbors has officially arrived. Even with Daniel Jones as a quarterback, I think he has like 30-something targets over the last 2 games, which is just nuts. But yeah, I didn't pick him. Tegan did. Sucks because my dad's a Giants fan, and he's been letting me know all week about it.
Yeah, I just want to say I called it.
You did.
I said Malik's going to have a breakout, another big game after having a good game last week and then kind of ending in a tough way. I thought he was going to have a pretty big week, and he did. And my fantasy team is happy. I'm happy. My pick was right. So good for the Giants. Don't know how many wins they'll have this year, but that's one of them.
It sure is. Next, we have the Eagles and the Saints, which was a close game. I think that a lot of people thought it was going to be a close game. Probably a little bit more low scoring than a lot of people expected. But I actually got this one right where you picked the Saints. So I'll take my wins wherever I can get them. Jalen Hurts did not have a bounce back week. He got like 15 points, not even 15 points in fantasy. So still riding the struggle bus with that one. But yeah, I guess the Saints kind of fell back to earth a little bit. I don't know. 15-12 isn't a terrible loss.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little too high on the Saints bandwagon there for a little bit, but I don't think they're bad by any means. I mean, that's a good team to lose to 3 points to.
Yeah.
Saints had the ball with a chance to go win the game too at the end of the game, and I think they just turned it over through a pick or something like that to end it. So there was chances in this game. They just couldn't get that offense to do what it normally did. I mean, their defense did okay, holding them to 15. It's just compared to the explosive offense we've seen the 3 weeks prior or 2 weeks prior,
Right.
it wasn't all there. But not a bad loss, I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure. I've been seeing a lot of memes around the Twitter world of Rashid Shaheed the minute people started playing him in fantasy. Just crap in the bed.
Keep him on your bench. He
He's
plays
a
better that
touchdown
way.
any week. Yeah. It's just, he's been robust. It's just kind of hard to predict sometimes. Next, we get to this game, which I'll give you all the flowers you want in this one because you called this one right off the bat, saying that it was, I believe your wording was the first confusing step in the Texans' journey or in the Texans' season. Freaking Sam Darnold, man. He's, forget looking like a good backup, forget a bridge quarterback until McCarthy's healthy, whatever. He's putting himself together a resume to go get paid next year if they decide to rock with McCarthy in the offseason. Yeah, I mean, simple as that. He looks like one of the top quarterbacks in the league right now.
As a Titans fan, I would not hate it. I would not hate it this offseason. That's all I'm going to say. But, yeah, I was a firm believer that the Texans were not going to win this game. I didn't know it would be a blowout, but I thought the Texans would lose this game, and that was actually going to be better for their season overall, and they were going to figure out some things. And we'll see, I guess, going forward if that is the truth or not. But, yeah, I'm impressed with Sam Darnold and the Vikings, and I really don't know where they go from here. Eventually, they're still undefeated, correct?
Believe so. They beat us. They beat the Giant. Yeah. 3-0.
So, I mean, I think Sam Darnold would probably be the MVP favorite as of today if it wasn't for Josh Allen.
Right.
But Josh Allen
You could argue Josh Allen just by name value.
I mean, Josh Allen's tearing it up. Don't get me wrong.
He is.
So,
But I'm sure some Vikings fans will argue that, though.
right. But, yeah, I mean, good for the Vikings. I don't know how long they can keep this up, but I'm here for it.
Me too. I mean, at this point, I have Jay Jettas on my fantasy team, so I'll ride it as far as I can get. Broncos Bucks. Speaking of, I guess that's 3 teams in a row now who kind of came crashing back to earth this week. We both took the Bucks in this game. We thought it wasn't going to be close. Has Bo Nix arrived?
I was going to say he looked like a competent quarterback for the first time in his career, and his 3-game career. But
I'd probably attribute this more to PS2, Patrick Surtain, looking like no question the best cornerback in the league for 3 straight weeks now. I mean, who have they played? Last week they played the Steelers, absolutely shut down George Pickens. Week 1 they played, I don't even remember who they played in week 1. Seahawks shut down DK Metcalf for the most part. And yeah, I mean, he's been on a 3-week tear, effectively taking the number 1 wide receiver of other teams out of the game.
I mean, their defense played really, really well. The Bucs just couldn't get anything going offensively. Mike Evans was, like you said, a ghost. He disappeared, and that ain't Mike Evans' fault. It was just Patrick Surtain's that good, because we know great. Mike Evans is a 100-yard a game receiver. Pretty much just feels like his whole career, you know.
Hey, Mr. Consistent.
Yeah, so kudos to them.
Yeah, I will say Rashad White looks rough. I think that
Yeah,
last year he was probably propped up a little bit by just the sheer amount of volume and checkdowns he got, and now their rookie Bucky Irving is kind of taking a little bit of the passing work away from him, and he's never White has never been a particularly efficient running back, and this year it seems like he's like the least efficient running back in the league, averaging like 2 yards a carry. It's bad. Well, Tegan?
I'm just gonna start with a quick just sigh there. Well, week 3 of Tegan's Titans tantrums. I think that's going to be the official name going forward because the alliteration is beautiful. But besides that, I'm just waiting for Tegan's Titans touchdowns or wins or no more turnovers or Tegan's Titans fun. I'm not having fun. I'm not having fun anymore. Okay, I it went from hey we can win the division or maybe we're a wild card team. Right now I'm wondering how good would Quinn Ewers look in two-tone blue. That's where I'm at in this point in the season, and we're only 3 weeks in, and that's tough. Somehow we managed to allow Malik Willis. No disrespect to Malik Willis, okay? He played a hell of a game against us, but how? How? I watched Malik Willis on multiple occasions play quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. He looked like if any of us went out there and tried to play quarterback in the NFL. And then we get rid of him. He plays against us in our own place, which was filled with Packers fans. And he destroyed us. He destroyed us. He threw for over 200 yards.
Didn't he run for almost 100?
He ran for like 70 or something like that.
I know we had a long touchdown run.
Can we take backsies on the trade? Can we do that? Because I want to take backsies because it's not working out.
Get your 7th round pick back.
I mean, like, it's not even that I want him to be the starting quarterback for the Titans. I just don't want him to be the starting quarterback for another team, so he can't do that to us anymore. That was heartbreaking. I mean, they went down and scored on the first possession. We tied it up. We looked dang good on that first drive, which seems like a common theme this season with the Titans. For some reason, Callahan can script up a first drive like it's a poem. It's a poem, and then the second drive comes and Will Levis throws a pick six, and next thing you know, you're down 10, and it just spirals and spirals and spirals. And then later in the game, you're like, hey, let's try to make a comeback. You start throwing it to your best players and running a no-huddle offense, and it's actually working. And then you score and you stop doing it. I don't understand. I don't really – there's a lot of issues going on. I don't know if this is an organizational issue at this point because it seems like no matter how hard we try, who we hire, who we have on the team, it just doesn't work. So I don't know if the Titans are forever just going to be poverty. I don't know if that's just going to be us. And, it's crazy having this reaction after 3 weeks of a football season, but I don't really have much positives. We gave up 8 sacks. Somehow the offensive line looks worse. I didn't know that was possible. 8 sacks? 8. 7 of them came in one half. It's like I don't even know how that's possible. But I don't know. I could sit here and probably rant for an hour and a half. I just don't really know. We have the Dolphins coming up, but I think Tyler Huntley is starting that game, so he's probably going to go for about 4 million yards against us.
Did they sign him?
Evidently.
Huh. Because Tim
Just
Boyle
such,
finished the game for him last week.
yeah, I thought we were going to get Tim Boyle or Skylar Thompson. I thought maybe, just maybe for half a second, that the Titans could win a football game. Just for like half a second. And then they're like, yeah, let's go sign little Lamar just to beat the Titans.
Well, maybe you'll learn from what Malik Willis did, and I don't know. I'm sure the game plan would be similar.
What, give up 300 total yards to the QB and multiple touchdowns? That game plan didn't work, Jamie.
Yeah, and Malik Willis doesn't have a Tyreek Hill or a Jalen Waddle.
I don't know if Callahan just doesn't have any touchdown plays in his playbook, but we need to find some and find some now because throwing the double coverage deep ball to Treylon Burks isn't going to work anymore. And that concludes my rant.
It was a rough one to say the least. I mean, I don't have anything to say. You covered it all. This one's an interesting one because Colts won, but Anthony Richardson, I think, has gotten worse in 3 consecutive weeks.
He's not the guy.
He's two more interceptions this week, 3 interceptions last week. I've been on and on about mobile quarterback rushing over. It's normally set around like 40 or 50 a game. His rushing yards have steadily gone down 3 weeks in a row. So if anybody has him in fantasy football, I hate to break it to you, but I don't think he's startable at this point. The rushing upside that you thought you were getting from him isn't there anymore. The picks are just negating any upside he does have. Seems like they've learned that to stop the big play. I mean, somewhere between Jamarcus Russell and Cam Newton would be his floor and his ceiling. He's starting to look closer to that floor. But they got the win. I mean, Jonathan Taylor got it done, rushed for over 100 yards. Bears seem to look good, though. I mean, I know the scoreboard doesn't show it, but Rome Odunze got involved. You had the first touchdown between him and Caleb Williams. I don't know if any of y'all saw the video of them kind of like not arguing, but talking about who's going to get the ball. I thought that was pretty funny. I feel like even though
it was Tom and Jerry chasing each other.
Yeah, really. I feel like even though the Colts won this game, the Bears have had more positives going forward.
I mean, Caleb Williams is throwing up plenty of yards.
Yeah, they unleashed him.
That was the first time I think the Bears have had a 300-yard passer in a game since 2016. I think it was Brian Hoyer, is what I saw.
Really?
So,
not Cutler.
Brian Hoyer getting mentioned today. That's a surprise. But yeah, the turnovers for Anthony Richardson is bad, and I can't even say anything because of Will Levis. The Will Levis versus Anthony Richardson turnover battle is going to be a fun one to watch this year. I don't know who's going to put up more, but man, do those guys not like keeping the football in their hands. So,
yeah.
Two promising, bright young stars into the AFC South are looking like the star is fading and dulling very, very, very fast.
Some would say 3 promising, bright young stars in the AFC South.
Yeah, don't even get me. We'll get to Trevor. We'll get to Trevor in a second.
Getting to this game, if the season ended today, I think that Mike Tomlin and we already talked about the Vikings, but Kevin O'Connell, I think both of them would be Coach of the Year candidates or finalists right now.
Couldn't agree more.
Steelers are 4-0. I always 3-0. Sorry. Steelers 3-0. They just played another undefeated team in the Chargers, who I picked, by the way. Actually, yeah, you picked Steelers. Never mind. I mean, I was high on Jim Harbaugh. I was high on Justin Herbert. It seemed like Quentin Johnson learned how to catch a ball. But I don't know. I mean, the Steelers look good. Justin Fields might not have been the problem in Chicago. I didn't think he was. I I was saying all draft season that the smart move for them to do would be take Marvin Harrison Jr. and the best offensive lineman available. They obviously didn't listen to me, but yeah, the Steelers look good, and it's. I mean, I think the quarterback battle, if there ever even was one, is non-existent at this point. You're not going to turn the reins over to Russell Wilson anytime soon.
No, Justin Fields would have to do something drastic in a short amount of time for that to happen. But that Steelers defense is for real. It is
It
really,
is.
really, really good. It's a
Yeah.
classic Mike Tomlin Super Bowl winning defense. That's what it looks like. Now, I'm not saying the Steelers are winning the Super Bowl, but what I'm saying is if you look at his years past, that defense is eerily similar to some of those good defenses. And they only need a
Yeah.
decent performance from the offense. That's all they need every single
Right.
week.
20 points.
But
Yeah.
Justin Fields is not just playing decent; he's playing good. So
He is.
the Steelers might go really far. Like as far as in their division, and I'm not saying Super Bowl by any means. I just want to make that clear. But they're starting to look like divisional favorites because the Ravens, have their issues going on, and the Browns aren't good, and the Bengals are winless. So it's kind of their division to lose at the moment. So we'll see.
Yeah, it is. I agree. I mean, Najee Harris might not have the upside that people thought he had after his rookie year, the Derrick Henry upside that people were touting him for. But I mean, he's a workhorse, and he's gonna go out and get 3 to 4 yards of carry and a great 3 down back. And in my opinion, the best running back on the roster, Jalen Warren. He's came in a couple games, but he hasn't been 100% healthy yet. Whenever they get him back full time, it could be interesting.
Yeah, watch out.
Yeah. Anyways, getting into this one of the few games we both got right. Seahawks beat the Dolphins pretty handedly. Geno Smith still is not written back.
Nope.
But at some point, I'm going to have to stop rooting for these guys because right now they're in the top of our division. Uh, undefeated, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I am. Yeah, undefeated, 3-0 Seahawks. Looking like that
Yep.
Mike McDonald hire was a pretty good one. Coming from the Ravens, he was the Ravens DC last year, and now he's the head coach. Looks like they might have gotten the next Pete Carroll just come right in. So I mean, we'll have to see, but the Seahawks look good, man. Dolphins, probably what was expected, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
There's only so much you can do with Skylar Thompson as your quarterback.
Tim Boyle, yeah.
And Tim Boyle is your backup. So
at what point do you just start alternating jet sweeps between Waddle and Tyreek the entire game?
if they have Tyler Huntley, like I'm pretty sure they do now, rest in peace.
I mean,
that's all I'm going to say.
It could be on the up and up for them. I mean, I've always liked the Dolphins, especially since they've gotten Mike McDaniel. I know I've kind of dogged on them before for not being able to win in the playoffs when it's cold and this, that, and the other, but they're a fun team. Definitely a fun offense. I mean, I feel bad for him, kind of. Can't help but feel bad for him. This next
What
game,
the hell?
Panthers Raiders. What happened? What the heck?
I excuse my language, but what the hell? What?
The Red Rocket.
36 years old, hasn't started a game in over a calendar year. The Panthers put up 36 points like it was nothing on the road at the Raiders and won by 2 scores. The same
Yeah.
Panthers team who struggled to put up any points in the last 2 years.
I
I was a
mean,
firm I was a firm believer that there's no way it was a Bryce Young problem. But now I'm really, really confused. Now, I mean, we're gonna have to see the longevity of this. Do I think that that might have been just like a one-hit wonder of a week? Probably. But whoa, what? But what confuses me is how do you have time to throw all of a sudden?
right, that's what I was about to say. Where was the offensive line issues?
Gone. And you can't tell me that Andy Dalton at 36 years old can move in the pocket better than Bryce Young.
Yeah, I've got no idea. Yeah, I was baffled this game. It looked like
I
a completely different playbook.
I mean, we sat here and picked the Raiders, no issues, and I'm not even mad about getting it wrong. I'm just confused on what the Panthers are. I mean,
I
I
don't know
still think
what
they're
they
the
are.
worst team in the league, but they're better than the Titans right now, technically. So
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I,
Chuba
I,
Hubbard
I he popped
looked
off.
good. Yeah.
Also on my fantasy team, love that. Put him in the flex. That's what I did. I don't know. I really could not begin to tell you what that was all about. I didn't watch a second of that game. I just checked the score and I was my jaw dropped. I was like, "There's no way. There's no way."
It was crazy, to say the least. I mean,
And Andy
Minshew
Dalton, we
Mania,
trust.
yeah, I guess. Minshew Mania is officially over. Officially
Yeah,
this time. It's done. Starting that off with a side, too. Getting into this game.
tough week. Tough week for the boys. Tough week for the boys.
Tough week for the boys. We literally called it last week. We said this is the first time we're both picking each other's teams, and now they're going to both go out and lose.
Yeah.
Well, we called something. It's not what we wanted to.
No.
Okay, where do I start?
The injury bug.
Before I dog him for incompetency, I'm going to tell if any other 49ers fans out there listening that are up in arms saying, fire Shanahan, it's still early in the season. Give it a couple more weeks. That being said, though, I really bet he's wishing, him and John Lynch both, are wishing that they didn't go and draft a wide receiver in the first round whenever Kool-Aid McKinstry and Cooper DeJean were looking you square in the face, ready to put on the red and gold. And then turn around after they drafted a wide receiver in the first round, go and pay another one $30 million a year. Because you know what? We had a wide receiver one, a certified dog on our team this entire time, and his name is Jawan Jennings. I mean, let me just, go Vols. Let me just pull it up. Because, man, 11 receptions, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns. He got it done, and I don't know. I would be perfectly fine if we didn't have Pearsall or Ayuk on the team right now, and he was our wide receiver 2 behind Debo. I don't know. We could have saved a lot of money, especially whenever you have a quarterback who, by the way, has been playing his ass off, doing everything that he can to get this team wins. I have no complaints about Brock Purdy right now. He was on the injury report come Monday. Scares me a little bit. Full participant at practice today, though, so hopefully he's fine. But I don't know. The Niners also have said that people were fine, and they haven't been a couple times now. Anyways, I'm more mad at Shanahan for his reluctance to play rookies, because there is no reason that Ronnie Bell should have been in that game and should have been the person that you throw the potential game-winning pass to. It seemed like anytime you threw him the ball, his hands just turned to bricks. And I mean, I know that, and a lot of people probably don't know who this is, but we have a guy that we drafted in the 4th round named Jacob Cowling. He's only like 5'8", but man, he runs a legit 3.3, and he showed flashes in the preseason. I would have much rather seen him on the other side of Jawan, or on the other side of Jawan and Ayuk, somewhere in the slot, than Ronnie Bell. I don't know, man. I wouldn't be mad if they cut Ronnie Bell after this game. Other than that, you know who else I'm mad at? Our defensive coordinator. We went out and fired our defensive coordinator right after the Super Bowl. Kyle's up there saying that he was the problem, this, that, and the other. We let up 17 points a game last year. That was not bad at all. But for some reason, he was the issue. And then we promoted an in-house guy to be the stand-in defensive coordinator. Go get Brandon Staley to be our assistant head coach, but really, essentially, the actual defensive coordinator. Essentially, he's handling the defense. Our defense looks awful right now. It looks terrible. Hufunga's first game back. Can't really get too mad at him. I was mad at Javon Hargrave for some of his lack of effort. Turns out he has a torn tricep. He's out for the season. I don't know, man. On our defense, we have Fred Warner and a bunch of misfits. It's rough. It's rough being a Niners fan right now. Especially
welcome to my world, Jamie.
Especially coming from the Super Bowl last year. We can make a late season run. Nothing's over yet. But listen to the Rams. It just hurts. We're supposed to own the Rams. SoFi Stadium's supposed to be Levi's South.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
As an outsider, there's a little trouble in paradise. And I think your biggest trouble is the injury bug.
Yeah, for sure.
Which normally you'd be like, hey, we'll get healthy. Best player on your roster is currently in Germany getting his Achilles checked out. That is not a good sign whatsoever.
He's getting not stem cells. It's called something that they're like putting some sort of stuff on his Achilles.
For the future of his career, I would not be shocked if he is out the whole season, which is a big blow. That's probably one of the best players in the entire league. Other question, when's the last time Brandon Ayuk got 175 receiving yards? Because Jawan said, screw it, I'm going to do it myself. And as a Tennessee fan, that was awesome. But as a Niners fan, that's got to be confusing and concerning.
It is concerning. You have a quarterback who deservedly has earned every bit of you name it contract in a couple of years. And we just wasted it's early. 3 weeks. I don't want to say wasted yet. But what it seems like right now is we just wasted $30 million a year on Brandon Ayuk.
I mean, he's going to have to play better. He's going to have to play better now. And he's going to, there's going to be a lot of, there's got to be a lot of change.
It's not too late to trade him. That's all I'm saying.
We'll leave it at that. And on a brighter note, as we go to the next game, a team in your division, the team in your division lost. So
they did.
Cardinals lost to the Lions 20-13. I'm pretty sure I picked the Cardinals.
Yeah, you picked Cardinals. I picked the Lions. I'll happily take my win there.
Yeah, I assumed a little bit better of an offensive performance from the Cardinals. The connection to Marvin Harrison was still there from Kyler Murray, but
yeah,
I guess a little bit tainted compared to the week before. Lions do have a good defense. They will as long as Dan Campbell's there. We know that. So, but good win for the Lions. They kind of reassured me a little bit that they're not just going to flop this year after their big year last year, because Cardinals, I think, are going to be a competitive team, and they handled them pretty well.
Yeah, they did. I think Cardinals are going to be good. I hate to say it, but it looks like the whole NFC West is going to be good. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like might be the Lions and the Vikings in the NFC North. I mean, time will tell whenever Jordan Love comes back and if Caleb Williams can continue to improve. But Lions are good. Um, I mean, I just think they have they low key have a lot of weapons. Jamison Williams back this year's opened up so much for their offense. I like them until we see them in the playoffs. Hopefully.
And then the next game we got was Ravens Cowboys.
Good game.
Well, it wasn't until it was. The Ravens were up 28-6 with like 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. That then proceeded to be a Cowboys touchdown, onside kick, touchdown, and then let me think. Yes, and a couple missed 2-point conversions somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't able to get another on. Oh, then they just couldn't get the 3 and out is what they needed to get the ball back and have a chance, but they couldn't get it done. Ravens so close to blowing a third lead, or at least close game this year. They started out with that toe tap out of bounds against the Chiefs to start the year. Then you had the 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. They blew it, I think, to the Raiders last week, and then they also are getting a little bit of flashbacks this week as they nearly blew a massive lead, and you could tell Lamar and company was not happy after the game.
No, they were
and
not.
As far as the Cowboys go, what is going on over there? Their defense can't stop anything right about now. That's for sure.
I think I'll die on the hill that tying up over $100 million in 2 players on your offense, I would much rather have a bunch of $10 to $15 million players on your defense and have a solid defense.
I mean, they seem like they have some offensive line issues.
Yeah.
Dak and CD were kind of yelling at each other, or CD was kind of just throwing a little bit of a fit because he's not getting the ball correctly. I don't know. Their defense can't stop anything because Dan Quinn's gone, and I don't think they're willing to accept the fact that Dan Quinn had a massive part of their team.
He really did.
They hated on him because of the way he coached the game in the playoffs, but that was one game out of like the entire season where he had an excellent defense. But I don't know. We'll see where the Cowboys go from here because they got waxed by the Saints last week, and the Ravens were on pace to score 40 again, but they kind of let up. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. We'll have to see. Game Sunday night. Chiefs found a way to get it done. Once again, don't bet against Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
But the Falcons don't look like a bad team at all. I mean, yeah, not too much to say about this. Mahomes is going to find a way to win games. Rashee Rice looks amazing right now.
The Chiefs are going to chief. They're going to find ways to win.
Yeah,
I mean, at the end of the game. Falcons were in this thing. They just clutch time. I'm going to trust Mahomes over not even necessarily Kirk Cousins, just anyone else in the league. So,
yeah, no knock on Kirk Cousins. It would be Mahomes over anybody. All right, Monday night. Had the Monday night doubleheader this week. I liked it. How'd you feel about it?
Doubleheader's awesome because you're bound one game to be not good and the other one's going to be good. So you're at least guaranteed one good game rather than if you just have one game, there's a chance that might just not be a good Monday Night Football.
Right.
This way, we were promised at least one good game, and that was not the Bills and Jags. Bills waxed them. Josh Allen and the Bills look really, really good. They sometimes I don't know how to explain it, but they lost their 2 best receivers, but people sometimes say there's addition by subtraction, and I don't know if it was getting digs off the field or what it was over there, but
Not paying one guy a buku of
I
money.
mean, they're getting their tight ends more involved with Kincaid and Dawson Knox. You have Keon Coleman, the rookie, starting to make some plays. Um, I think
Cook's
Shakir's on
playing
that.
good. Yeah, Shakir.
I mean, they got some guys. They really do got some guys. And, I mean, they put up 47 in a heartbeat, and
Yeah.
they pretty much pulled everybody in the fourth quarter. They're a scary, scary team, I think. So, and I think Josh Allen's playing the best ball he has in his NFL career. On the Jags side of things, I've been saying, I said it in the offseason. I kind of got told I was dumb by a lot of people that Trevor Lawrence is not a good quarterback in this league. And I'm looking to be pretty right about right now. He is
Yeah.
struggling this season, struggling hard. After they just paid him so much money,
Seems
I
like we
just
have a
don't think
trend here.
I just don't think he's the guy. I'm sorry. And maybe he gets the season going, but I just don't see it. And you you can't sit here and say the Jaguars as a team are that bad. I'm pretty sure their GM slash owner, whoever it was, came out this offseason saying this is the best team on paper he's ever had since being in Jacksonville.
That's a
Which
wild statement.
which is a wild statement when you lose 47-10. So good luck to that.
Yeah.
But there was a good game we did have last night or Monday night. The Commanders beat the Bengals 38-33. It was in Cincinnati. Jaden freaking Daniels, man.
He's arrived.
He is not only arrived, he is here, and he's probably here to stay. He looked really, really good, didn't he?
He looked amazing. Only thing I can say to Commanders is you had a pretty shiny toy in RG3 a while back. Don't break this one. Like
Don't
you
do that
broke
to the
RG3.
Commanders fans. Let them have this one. Let them have this one.
Hey, I'm sure they could come right back at me and say, well, Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator of that team that broke RG3. So,
Which is very true. That was also 12
it
years
is.
ago. That is 12 years ago.
Right.
I think the
Not even
biggest
the
key,
Commanders. That wasn't the Commanders.
correct, they were a team name that we will not say. But the key here between the team now and when RG3 is there is Dan Snyder's gone.
Yeah.
Dan Snyder was a problem to that organization. And I think it trickled down. I can't say that's the reason why RG3 got hurt, but I think as an organization, things are trending upward now. And
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm if he can get that connection to Terry McLaurin going consistently, look out. They're going to be something interesting.
Yeah, they will be. I mean, they got a two-headed monster in the backfield. They got Austin Eckler cheap, who I think still has a lot more football games to play. And Brian Robinson looks like a great three-down guy. I mean, workhorse kind of deal. I love it. Who is it? Kingsbury is their OC?
Yeah, what a sneaky, sneaky pickup.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't find that out till last night, and I was like, whoa. That was kind of smart. And you got Dan Quinn as your head coach, which I think he's going to be I thought he was going to be an awesome head coach whenever he decided to finally get away from Dallas. And I don't know. It's working out pretty well over there. I think the Commanders and Bears are in a very similar situation. The young quarterback, I think both of them are probably a year away from being serious contenders. I think the Commanders are probably a little bit closer right now as far as just division and whatnot. And
Commanders, Cowboys, and Commanders, Eagles could get real interesting.
yeah, and there used to be a time the team from Washington was actually a threat to the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants. And I would not be upset if that came back because that's why that division was so good for so long. And
completely
I
agree.
don't know. It's exciting.
I have a question for you. Who's your rookie of the year right now?
There's a lot of them.
Malik? I'd say it's between Malik and Jaden.
Do they do offense and defense? Or just one award?
They do offensive and defensive.
Well, if that's for sure, and they do offensive, defensive, offensive, you got to go.
It's tough. I mean,
I
you
mean,
probably go
Malik's putting up
quarterback,
numbers,
but right,
but if he plays that much better, if Jay Daniels does what he did last night consistently, it's Jay Daniels. I mean,
right,
he
absolutely.
had two incompletions the entire game.
Yeah,
He
and he
had
broke
he
the
had
record for most running, didn't he? I'm pretty sure he broke the record for like most running yard or rushing yards in the first 3 games of a rookie quarterback.
yeah he if he can just protect his body, which you saw him start to slide last night, and there was one time he slid and Dan Quinn's face like lit up and smiled because you could tell they've been trying to get him to do
Yeah,
it because they just got to protect him. They got to protect him, and
got
I
to.
don't know. And as far as the Bengals goes, I don't know what to say about them. There's a funny but sad stat due to being a Titans fan that the only 0-3 teams in the league are the Bengals, Titans, and what's the last one? Who was it?
Have the Jags won?
In the Jags. And so Zach Taylor is the head coach for the Bengals. Zach Taylor's brother is a coach for the Jaguars. And then Brian Callahan's the coach for the Titans, who was the understudy to Zach Taylor. So the whole Taylor coaching tree is not working out right now. We have like the Shanahan tree in the NFL and the Belichick tree, and then you got the Taylor tree,
Taylor.
which is it's more of like a Taylor, not a tree. It's more of a shrub, you know.
Right. Yeah, somebody needs to water it.
Yeah, it's dying, and it's dying fast.
All right. Well, that concludes our recap of week 3. Let's get into some picks for week 4. What do you say?
Yeah, some of these we could probably speed through a little bit, but
Yeah, absolutely.
Cowboys Giants.
Closer
This
than
is
you
our
think.
Thursday night game. So like usual, you guys already know who won while you're hearing this. The, my mind is like, surely the Cowboys win just because they've coming off 2 losses, you know. But I think the Giants are going to make it interesting. They're going to keep it close, and I think Malik Neighbors is going to have his national TV breakout game as far as like everybody watching them. Some would say similar to maybe the OBJ breakout game against the Cowboys? Question mark.
That's huge.
But
Who's
we'll
going to
see
stop him?
about that.
Daniel Jones. It's the only one that will.
Yeah, that is very true. I think they're going to put up some numbers here. It might be a little high scoring game the way the Cowboys defense has been playing, but I think the Cowboys are going to just barely win this one, like by a field goal.
Cowboys.
I'm just having a hard time convincing myself that the Cowboys are going to lose 3 straight in the regular season.
Right.
I'd be happy for the Giants.
Home team. Yeah, I don't know if it gets into a shootout. As good as Malik Neighbors is, I'm going to take the team with Dak Prescott over the team with Daniel Jones.
I mean,
So
we know the Cowboys can put up some yards.
Right. And the Giants have put up Malik Neighbors has put up decent yards these past 2 weeks, but like I said, if it gets to the point where it's just a shootout, yeah, I'm going to go with the Cowboys. But like you said, I'd be happy for the Giants.
I mean, I'm rooting for not really either team, but I think Cowboys win. And as far as fantasy goes, I'm hoping Malik Neighbors goes off. So
right there you go. Next, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season that this was going to be kind of a tough game to pick, I told you you're crazy.
Panthers have more wins.
Panthers do have more wins. At some point, the Bengals have to put it together, in my opinion. They have historically started off slow. because of Zach Taylor's refusal to play any of his starters in the preseason, like at all. Um, Typically, it's about this time whenever they start to put things together. I think they showed flashes last week. Jamar Chase looked like he enjoyed football again. Looked like him and Burrow were back on good terms. Panthers looked really good last week, but I just think it'll probably be a one-hit wonder with Andy Dalton. So I'm going to take the Bengals. I think things start to look up for them starting this week.
I agree for all those reasons. Yeah, I'm going to take the Bengals. But I might take a hot take here. Panthers keep this semi-close, and the reason why, this is an Andy Dalton Red Rocket revenge game.
I forgot about that. It is.
He played for the Bengals for a very, very, very long time.
Long time. Man, that was a while ago. That was like the Giovanni Bernard.
Yeah. You just know he has a little bit extra juice in the tank for this one. So
yeah.
Okay. But I think they come back down crashing your earth, and the Bengals surely find a way to win a game.
Yep, I agree.
Which then gets us to the NFC South divisional game. Saints-Falcons, two kind of surprising teams going into this year. Falcons played the Chiefs close. Saints played the Eagles close and kind of came back down to earth a little bit on the offensive end. I'm going to say the Falcons win this home game. And Kirk Cousins kind of has a good game. And I'm expecting a good game out of Kirk Cousins here. But I think this is going to be another really close football game. I think we're going to have some good games this week.
I agree. A lot of games that you probably wouldn't have thought to be good games are probably going to be some pretty good games. Yeah. I'm probably going to agree with you. I am going to agree with you just because the fact that I think the Falcons' defense is underrated. They have a pretty darn good defense. They're at home. Saints might have a little bit more of an explosive offense, but I mean the Eagles held them to 12 points. If you can stop the deep ball against them, I think you can stop a lot of their offense. Falcons have I don't know, these might be two of the best running backs in the league going up against each other, so it'll be interesting. I have both of them on on one of my fantasy teams. So I'm going to go Falcons, but like you said, I think it's going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah, just a quick touch on the Falcons' defense. Not enough people are addressing the fact that they picked up Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons right before the season. They were two really good pickups.
Great pickups.
And they're both playing really well. So,
oh, yeah.
It shows. It shows.
I probably would have drafted Dallas Turner instead of Michael Penix in the draft and not
Time will tell.
Paying for Judon. But yeah, that's just me. I'm sure I'm overanalyzing things like I always do. Can't be mad at the results that they're getting right now out of Judon. So next, once again, I don't know. Divisional matchup. Texans coming off a loss. Jaguars are 0-3. Do the Texans bounce back? I want to say probably. But do the Jags go 0-4? It's a little tough for me to pick, but I think I'm gonna go with the Texans. Wait, do you have any, before I lock in my pick, do you have any updates on Joe Mixon? Do you have any idea about his injury status? Or
personally didn't even know he was hurt. So
he got hurt in the Bears game. I think he played last week, but in a limited fashion. Give me a couple seconds. Joe Mixon. Questionable right now. Didn't practice on Wednesday. Could get interesting if you take away their starting running back. I think that he definitely played a role in them losing to the Vikings. Not saying Sam Darnold didn't play a role, but you know what? Screw it. I'm going to flip my pick. I'm going to take the Jaguars to knock out 0-4 and win on the road against the Texans.
I was really hoping you'd make that decision. This is the part of the Texans. I have this whole Texans season planned out. Okay. Last week, I predicted the loss, and they lost. But they needed to lose to get better because they were not playing their best ball, but finding ways to win games. And sometimes you just need a loss to figure things out. They're going to win this game, and they're going to win it big. Jags stink. The AFC South stinks right now. Stinks. Okay? What was supposed to be the fun, young quarterback division stinks. Texans by multiple scores.
Sounds good. We'll have to visit that one for sure next week.
I cannot wait to get clipped for that. Okay. Then we got Broncos-Jets. Kind of an interesting game. A couple years ago, probably one of the worst matchups in the NFL. But it is not anymore. Bo Nix played really well last week. Things are trending upwards. The Jets are also on an upward trend with Aaron Rodgers and the way they've been playing. I think they're more likely to continue that trend at home. I think the Broncos keep it close for a good bit, but the Jets end up scoring a couple scores late to pull away a little bit. Jets are going to win this one.
Yeah, I agree. Jets are probably going to win. However, if you have Garrett Wilson on your fantasy team, I'm not going to say sit him because you probably drafted him in the first or second round. You're not going to sit somebody that you spent that high of draft capital on. But temper your expectations because Pat Surtain has been he's been putting number one receivers in jail. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Jets.
Low key, if you have Adam Lazard, start him.
Hey, that's a good pick.
I do not have him on my team, but someone probably does,
Yeah, for sure. Next, divisional matchup, Packers-Vikings. Any news on Jordan Love, as far as you know?
He warmed up against the Titans and was like a game-time decision. So,
yeah.
However, the Packers are not going to play Jordan Love as far as they believe they can win without Jordan Love.
That's true. I think Malik Willis winning maybe gave them a little bit more security in not playing him.
He's not only winning, he's 2-0, and he played way better once they let him kind of throw the ball.
Right. If Jordan Love plays, he's been limited the first 3 days of practice this week. If he plays, Packers probably win this game. If he doesn't play, I'm going to keep riding I think even if he plays, the chances of him being 100% are probably not high. I'm going to keep riding the Vikings train until it tells me not to. And with my recent luck, it'll probably tell me not to this week. But Sam Darnold's been getting it done. Justin Jefferson's been getting it done. Aaron Jones has been getting it done. Go Vikings.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to pick the Packers because I was going to take the Vikings, so I'm going to stick with my pick with the Vikings. I don't care who lines up at quarterback for the Packers, whether it be Malik Willis or slightly still injured Jordan Love, I still think the Vikings should win this game. Um, but you never know. Malik's playing out of his mind, so who knows? And then we got Steelers Colts. I'm just gonna flat out say it. Steelers are gonna win.
Yeah.
I think probably by 10. That defense is gonna pick Anthony Richardson apart. He might have a deep ball here or there, but at some point he's gonna turn the ball over. And if he doesn't, I'll eat my words because good for him because that means he's improving. But the way he's been turning the ball over this season, I have a hard time believing the Steelers, who I think is probably the best defense in the league or one of, are going to struggle with him. I think they win on the road, no issues.
Completely agree. Like I said, Mike Tomlin's a Coach of the Year candidate right now. And Anthony Richardson has been steadily getting worse the past 3 weeks. I got the Steelers. That leads us into the next game. Bears-Rams. This one kind of hurts to say because my Niners just lost to the Rams. However, what I said before that game last week still stands. They're one of the most injury-riddled teams in the league. And I think this is the Bears' week. Like, building off of what they had last week with the Colts, I think Caleb Williams continues to grow. Could be a coming-out party for him. I mean, the Niners were up 14-0 in the second half. Or not 14-0, 14 points in the second half. Couldn't close it out. I'm going to take the Bears here to beat the Rams.
I was giving my original pick. However, I'm going to switch it to the Rams now, winning. And the only reason why is the biggest downfall of Caleb Williams' career in the NFL is going to be his current coaching staff. Eberflus is not good.
No.
Their OC is not good. And if I was to put money on between Eberflus or Sean McVay, I'm choosing Sean McVay. And I know the Rams are beat up. They're very, very, very beat up. But no offense, but they found a way to win against y'all. And it's between Tutu Atwell or whoever they got back there playing. Stafford is a very experienced quarterback, and I think it's going to show. If the Bears, I think, could win this game and have their breakout game or whatever we want to call it, but I'm just going to choose the better coach in this situation.
Tutu Atwell's a sneaky flex play.
He is. He's going to get a lot of receptions / jet sweeps, whatever. They're going to get him the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. So far we only have 2 that we've just agreed on. Let's see if that trend continues or not. This one,
Playoff rematch.
Playoff rematch, indeed. Bucks Eagles. Bucks won in the playoffs. I think the Buccaneers, without a Patrick Surtain on the other side, should improve. Mike Evans should be back to doing Mike Evans things. And hopefully Jalen Hurts can get me some points this week. But I'm going to take the Bucks to win the game.
Once again, unfortunately, I thought you were going to go Eagles. But I'm also taking the Bucks. I think they win in a close home game. I think Mike Evans is going to make up for all the lost yards he had last week. So,
yeah.
And I don't really know who would stop him. I don't even know who's in the Eagles secondary anymore.
Darius Slay, who's been playing
forever.
Kind of bad. Yeah.
I could see this being like a low-scoring game. This is similar to the way the Eagles played last week, like a 15-12, like the way they won.
Right.
I could see it being similar score, just the other way around.
I agree. All right. Well, we both had Bucks that game. I'll kick things off with this game and just say that if there ever was a get back spot, or a get right spot, get back spot, whatever you want to call it, this is it. So Niners gotta get it together, figure out what they're doing. I know people are hurt, I know we're banged up. For the most part, though, the backups that have came in for these hurt players have drastically overperformed. I mean, you started the season with Jordan Mason, who might not have been as dominant as he was to start the season, but he's still been a very serviceable running back in lieu of one of the best players in the league, Christian McCaffrey. And then you have Debo go down. Here comes Jawan Jennings with 175 yards and 3 touchdowns. Interested to see if our defense picks anything up, but I'm more confident against the Patriots. If our defense doesn't pick anything up, I don't think their offense is amazing by any means. I think we get it done at home and hopefully start back the Super Bowl run.
Yeah, I can't agree anymore, honestly. It's just it's a good spot for, I think, y'all in this situation to be in. As far as the way things happened last week, I think this is a perfect scheduling situation of playing the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're on the brink of a couple more losses before Drake May is going to be entered into this offense, but we're not there yet. I think y'all should win by a good margin at home. I'm kind of excited to see what the heck Jawan Jennings is going to put up as far as this week.
Right.
They might be Jerron Mayo might not want to let his other former VFL make any plays against his defense. We'll see about that, but I'm taking the Niners for sure.
Hey, all I'm saying, I know Brock was full participant in practice today. He'll probably play this weekend. And I don't ever want to see my starting quarterback, Brock Purdy, go down in any form or fashion, or not play in any form or fashion. But the ball in me would be kind of excited if there was some week where Josh Dobbs had to step in there with Jawan Jennings. And I don't know. I think it would be cool, man. I think it would be cool. But like I said,
maybe in a blowout.
Yeah, maybe in a blowout. Brock Purdy, stay healthy, please. I'm begging you. All right, you got this one.
Then we got Commanders Cardinals. This is going to be a flashy game. We're going to see a lot of points, a lot of yards. If you got anyone starting on any of these teams, whether it be Kyler Murray, Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, Marvin Harrison, start them all. I think this is going to be an absolute shootout. I think the Commanders are going to ride the hot wave, and I think Jaden Daniels is just so confident right now that they're going to find a way to just edge out the Cardinals. But this is going to be close. It's going to be a really close game.
That was another. Sorry. Legit, maybe only 3 if you want to say that Caleb Williams hasn't really arrived yet, but at least 3 legitimate Rookie of the Year candidate, offensive Rookie of the Year candidates right now. But yeah, I agree. I think I'm really high on Jaden Daniels right now. He's so exciting to watch. I'll be taking his over on rushing yards. I'll be starting Terry McLaurin. I think it's going to be an exciting game.
Remember the name Luke McCaffrey.
I heard that. I saw him he made a couple plays in the game on Monday night. And
he went to him a lot.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have a slot guy right now. They traded away Jahan Dotson to the Eagles.
He played really well, and he was a sure-handed receiver, and it might have taken unfortunately for you, one McCaffrey to go down for the other one to thrive in this league. But man, he looked sharp. He looked sharp. So
Hey, I was hoping that we would go out and draft Luke McCaffrey, Frank Gore Jr., and Brendan Rice all in the same draft this year, but that didn't happen, obviously.
no. Talk about any
Yeah.
other receiver though, huh?
Yeah, no kidding. Well, next we got the Chiefs Chargers. Kind of a coaching matchup more than anything. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to bet against Patrick
Don't
Mahomes.
do this to yourself.
I'm never going to bet against Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs are going to win the game. But I still think Jim Harbaugh's a hell of a coach. One of the best that we've seen in our generation. Maybe that's the Niners fan talking to me. But yeah, hopefully I will be hoping it's a good game because while I won't bet against Patrick Mahomes, I never said I wouldn't be preying on his downfall. So
Valid,
I got
valid.
Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can pretty much pencil us in every single week picking the Chiefs. Just, I mean, they could lose, but like, I'm still gonna. Why would I choose against him?
Right.
Like I very well think that the Chargers can win this game. It's not like they can't, but I just can't justify myself sitting here picking against Patrick Mahomes and then Patrick Mahomes win. I'd rather pick Patrick Mahomes and if he loses, die on that hill. So,
Absolutely. Alrighty.
and then we got Browns and Raiders. This is not going to be a fun one. Probably a pretty low scoring game as it's been for most Browns games this year. I do think the Browns have a better game this week, and I think they're going to win this one like 17-10, something low scoring, ugly game. But I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. I'm going to go Browns too. Like I said, Minshew Mania is out the window at this point.
Hey, it works like every other week.
It
So I
kind of
mean,
does. So,
this is the week he should be on.
but so do the Browns.
That's also true. That's true.
Yeah. So this is the week where they both should be on. We'll have to see, but I have Amari Cooper in one of my fantasy leagues, hoping he'll do well. And hoping they start to look on the up and up a little bit before Nick Chubb comes back. Where, I mean, I know the Steelers, it's their division to lose, but I think the Browns can maybe make a push. But if Nick Chubb returns to Nick Chubb status, which jury's still out on if he will or not. So next we have Bills and Ravens. I like the Ravens
Sunday
a
night.
lot. Sunday night game. Good Sunday night game.
Very good. Very good.
I like the Ravens a lot. I think they're a good team. They almost gave up. They almost blew it against the Cowboys. They've blown it other games. I don't know. I just find it kind of like, is it crazy to say that Josh Allen is getting close to that don't bet against him at all costs status? I don't know how absurd that would be to say, but I'm going to take the Bills here to win on the road on Sunday night against the Ravens.
As much as I want to pick the Bills, I'm going to go different than you. I'm not the biggest Ravens believer, but this being a Sunday night game and it being in Baltimore, that crowd's going to be insane. The Bills play. If this was in Buffalo, I'm taking the Bills all day long in front of Bills Mafia.
Mm-hmm.
However, being in Baltimore and the way that Derrick Henry looked last week against the Cowboys, they're kind of getting him going and figuring things out in that department. I think they're going to win, and I think this is going to be an awesome, awesome, awesome Sunday night football game.
I'm
It's a
excited. I
great
really
matchup.
am. Yeah, for sure. You want to take your team?
Not particularly, but obviously I'm going to choose the Titans to win. I can't justify myself for them to not pick them, but in theory, I'm going to start saying in theory and allegedly now anytime the Titans play because I don't want to be taking a true stance on anything anymore because it just hurts my soul. But allegedly, this would be a very winnable game for the Titans based off of the Dolphins' quarterback situation. If it is Tyler Huntley, things will be a little bit more interesting. However, I mean, he was very good as a backup for the Ravens, but like his running game was good. It wasn't necessarily his arm or anything like that.
Right.
I think we win this and hopefully just get in the win column and see what happens from there. Don't know if that's going to string into anything positive, but I don't know. Will Levis has a good history on Monday night games against the Dolphins so far, and I hope that for some reason something sparks in that kid's head to not turn the ball over and remind him that he's a promising young quarterback in this league. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Allegedly, I'm going to agree with you because for the same reason I picked the Jaguars against the Texans, 0-4 is really bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, 0-3 is bad, but 0-4 is really bad. You lost almost a quarter of your season already. I mean, I think
Don't remind me.
I think you get in the win column. Even if it is just solely giving the ball to Pollard and Spears. And I think you can run the ball against this team. Hopefully you can get that first drive going and then build on it this time. Maybe Callahan will script 2 drives this game. No?
He
Don't
won't.
think so?
But nope.
Well, I'm going to pick the Titans anyways. Leading us into
this might be a Nick Folk legacy game, like 6 field goals.
Could be. Hey, your game plan against the Dolphins worked last year. Just beat them up, take out their best players.
Yeah, and have to score 14 points in 2 minutes to come back and win. It wasn't a great game plan. That's why that guy is fired. But
right, no kidding.
Whatever.
All right, last game of the week. We got another Monday night doubleheader. Sick.
It's a beautiful thing.
Tell me what you feel about this, but I think they're trying to phase out Thursday night football with these Monday night doubleheaders, whether it be for player concerns with people getting injuries and not liking the short weeks, or whether it be just for the lack of ratings that Thursday night games have.
I disagree. I think
testing the waters.
I think this is to prevent having so many games at one time on Sunday. There's been some issues at the 1 o'clock slate that we have like 10 games going on at one time.
Yeah.
Unless you're just the biggest fan of NFL Red Zone, it's kind of chaos to keep up with that much football at one time. At least to actually fully know what's going on in these games, it's chaos.
I don't know why more teams don't play at the 4:30 slot or 4:25.
Yeah, that is the interesting question. I think they try to save that slot for the West Coast.
Yeah, because you got Niners, Chargers, Cardinals, Raiders. Yeah, it's the Pacific time because that's 1 o'clock there.
Yeah, because I mean you're not going to have a 10 a.m. game unless you're in London or whatever. But
right. Well, Niners did last week. No, we were 4 o'clock again.
Yeah, I was about to say there's no way. There's no way.
And then the week before that, we played at 1, but it was in Minnesota. Yeah, that makes sense. Saving that one for the West Coast teams.
I don't know why they don't just throw some of the East Coast games at 4 o'clock as well, just for.
Right, have like 6 or 7 games on each.
But the annoying thing is, like, you have your CBS and Fox games or whatever like that, but it seems like you only get one 4 o'clock game. Like, normally it's only the Fox that at least I'm zoned for in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Right.
And then whatever's going on like CBS, I just like can't watch it unless you buy all this stupid streaming.
Yeah, no kidding. But anyways, off that tangent, I said I was going to have to pick against the Seahawks at some point, and I'm going to. I don't know if Gino's going to write back or not, but I need them to calm down a little bit. I need him to pick up his pencil at least. I mean, they can't. They gotta lose some games somewhere if we're gonna win this division. So I'm all on board with the Lions this week.
You know the SpongeBob episode where SpongeBob sits there for about like an hour just writing and writing and writing. He just writes
Yeah,
the and like a very you need him to at
yeah,
least write the word the like start the sentence
yeah.
to
For real, that's what I need to
write
do.
back slight just slightly
Just a little bit.
I think the Lions are going to win this Monday Night Football in the Motor City in front of those fans. Seems like anytime they're in prime time at home, that's a tough place to play. Ford
Mm-hmm.
Field has those fans. Detroit's a very passionate sports city when they're winning, and they're finally winning again, and
Yeah.
they can finally. I mean, those fans were there when they were losing too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm just saying they finally have something to truly cheer about and be happy about, and I think they get it done. I'm not saying that Gino's writing back. I'm just saying they're not going to win. That's what I'm saying.
Right there you go. So just to recap, the only three disagreements or opposing picks we have this week is I picked the Jaguars to beat the Texans. You picked the Texans. I picked the Bears to beat the Rams. You picked the Rams. I picked the Bills to beat the Ravens, and you picked the Ravens. Not too many games that we disagree on, but I think in the
Which
past couple of
means we
weeks,
either have a really good week or really bad.
right. And I think in the past couple of weeks, at least from my side of things, I've tried to maybe force a couple of opposing picks for the sake of content, and it has came back to bite me. So I need to get back up to 500 if at all possible this week. Yeah, hope y'all had. I hope y'all enjoyed the podcast. I'll let you close us out, Tegan.
Yeah, so thank you once again for listening. We'll be back next week, starting with our college football episode, followed by our NFL. This is episode 9 of our podcast. Can't believe we're already on episode 9. Um, Thanks for listening. Follow us and subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Twitter, the whole 9 yards. I think I got them all that
Sure.
time for the first time in
Yeah.
podcast history.
There you go. Book it.
Only took nine tries. But other than that, if you guys have any ideas or anything like that, don't be afraid to comment. Whatever. I mean, any segments. We're pretty much open to trying anything on this podcast, see what works. And
Absolutely.
other than that, thank y'all for listening, and we'll catch y'all next week.
Yeah. Have a good one, y'all.